10 common time management mistakes, avoiding common pitfalls. We're going to discuss these 10, and I'm going to give you a few suggestions on how you might change these pitfalls if in fact you have any. And I'm sure you do. One or two here and there, we all do, and we have things that we might want to change. So give me your ear for a few minutes and we'll go through these. Number 1, failing to keep a to-do list. Do you ever have that nagging feeling that you've forgotten to do an important piece of work? And if so, you probably don't use a to-do list to keep on top of things. Or if you do, you're probably not doing it correctly. The trick is, with using a to-do list effectively, you prioritize the tasks on your list. Now, some people use things like A through F coding. Why they do that, I have no clue. I usually use a simple 1 through 5. 1 being I need to get to it now, and 5 meaning I could shove it underneath my desk and never look at it again. So keeping a to-do list is very effective. I use it every day. As a matter of fact, what I do before I leave every day is make my to-do list for the following day. So therefore, when I come in, I know exactly how my day is going to go. So it's a good trick. Give that a thought. Number 2, not setting personal goals. Do you know where you'd like to be in 6 months? Do you know where you'd like to be in a year? Do you know where you'd like to be at the end of the day? All right, if not, it's time to set some personal goals here. Personal goal setting is essential to managing your time well because goals give you a destination and vision to work toward. When you know where you want to go, you can manage your priorities, time, and resources to get there. Goals also help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what is a distraction. Number 3, not prioritizing, and this is a common problem. Let me paint a little scenario here. You're sitting in your office and all of a sudden you get a phone call, and the phone call is from your boss. You know, me, it would be from the principal. The principal would say, Todd, I need you to come up with your technology budget by the end of the day for next year. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is the last thing I expected. In the meantime, I have 5 minutes to class, so I'm trying hard to put my thoughts together to get into class because I'm not totally set to go in there. As I'm standing up, a teacher walks in and says, Todd, one of the computers is down in our classroom, one of the student computers, I need you to look at it right now, like it's on fire or something. And I say, all right, I'll get to it, just give me a few minutes and I'll get to it. And then, as you're leaving, you get a phone call from a sales rep. And the sales rep says, hey, I really want to talk to you, and you say, look, I'll get back to you. I'm walking out of the office right now, but I promise I'll get back to you. All right, you have 5 things on your plate now. It's time for you to prioritize. Now, sometimes it's hard to prioritize, especially when you're facing a flood of seemingly urgent tasks. However, it's essential to learn how to prioritize effectively if you want to manage your time better. Now, there's several different tools, and one tool we're going to look at here is called the Urgent Important Matrix. It looks a little more complicated than it actually is, but essentially it's this. You have a low to high in importance, and you have a low to high in urgency. All right? If it's something important, let's say the budget, okay? Principal wants a budget. If it's something important, it goes way up on top automatically. Is it really urgent? Well, not really. So I'm going to put it right here. So I have to get it done by the end of the day, but it doesn't have to be done this minute. Class is starting in 5 minutes. Is it high? Yeah, I would say it's pretty important. Is it urgent? Yeah, it's starting in 5 minutes. So it's going to be right here. Next, it would be the computer. Now, the computer is important, but it's not really urgent, all right? So I'm going to put it right here. It's sort of a distraction, actually. No, I'll put it right here. It's an interruption because it's important and it's urgent, but it's not really important. So I'm going to put it right here. It's an interruption. And the sales rep, a total distraction, all right? It's not important. It's not urgent. And he's just going to have to wait for a while. So he's going to sit right here in this little square. Now, it's not necessary you put something like this together. As a matter of fact, most people could just do it in their head. But it's important to at least know that it's out there. So if in fact you have a hard time prioritizing stuff, give it a try. It works. Number 4, Failing to manage distractions. Do you know that some of us can lose as much as 2 hours a day to distractions? Really. Think about how much you get done if you had that time back. Whether they come from emails, IM chats, colleagues, phone calls, whatever. If you want to gain control of your day and do the best work, it's vital to know how to minimize these distractions and minimize interruptions effectively. For instance, turn off your radio and phone when you're at work, if you need to focus especially, and let people know if they're distracting you too often. Also, learn how to say no. People will come up and they want stuff done immediately. Tell them no. Simple as that. And they'll soon learn, and your distractions will eventually go away. You're always going to get distractions. You have to learn how to manage them. Next, number 5, procrastination. It occurs when you put off tasks that you should be focusing on right now. When you procrastinate, you feel guilty that you haven't started. You come to dread doing tasks, and eventually everything catches up with you when you fail to complete the work on time. All right, so one useful strategy is to tell yourself that you're only going to start on a project for 10 minutes. Often procrastinators feel like they have to complete a task from start to finish, and this high expectation makes them feel overwhelmed and anxious. Instead, focus on devoting a small amount of time to starting. That's it. As a matter of fact, this thing we're doing right here, all right? This project right here. If I sat down and did it all together, it would take me hours. So therefore, I dedicated a certain amount of time per day, and it makes life a lot simpler. Procrastination. Number 6, taking on too much. Are you a person that has a hard time saying no to people? If so, you probably have too many projects and commitments on your plate, and this can lead to poor performance, stress, and low morale. Or you might be a micromanager, someone who insists on controlling or doing all the work themselves because they can't trust anyone to do it correctly. Either way, taking on too much is a poor use of time, and it can get you a reputation for producing rushed, sloppy work. To stop this, learn the subtle art of saying yes to the person, but no to the task. So therefore, you're saying, yes, I will be happy to do that, but no, I'm not going to do it right now. I'll do it when I have time to do it. That is taking on too much. Next is thriving on busy. Some people get a rush, an absolute rush, out of being busy. They have to meet deadlines, the endless emails, piles of files needed attention on their desk, frantic race to meetings and things like that. It's an adrenaline buzz for them. The problem is that an addiction to busyness rarely means that you're effective, and it could lead to stress. Instead, try to slow down and learn to manage your time better. Number 8 is multitasking. Imagine this scenario. To get on top of his workload, John regularly writes emails while he chats on the phone to his clients. However, while John thinks that this is a great use of his time, the truth is that it will take 20 to 40% more time to finish a list of jobs when you multitask, compared with completing the same list of tasks in sequence. The result is also that he does both tasks poorly. His emails are often full of errors, and his clients are frustrated by his lack of concentration. So the best thing to forget about multitasking and instead focus on one thing at a time. That way you'll produce higher quality work. Number 9, not taking breaks. This is essential. It's nice to think that you can work for 8 to 10 hours straight, especially when you're working on to a deadline. But it's impossible for anyone to focus really high quality work without giving your brain some time to rest and recharge. So don't dismiss breaks as wasting time. They provide valuable downtime, which will enable you to think creatively and work effectively. Not taking breaks. And finally, number 10, ineffectively scheduling tasks. Are you a morning person? Or do you find your energy picking up once the sun begins to set in the evening? All of us have different rhythms, that is, different times of day when we feel most productive and energetic. You can make best use of your time by scheduling high-value work during your peak time. And low energy work, like returning phone calls and checking email, during your downtime. All right? So, in effectively scheduling tasks, one of the most effective ways overall of improving your productivity is to recognize and rectify time management mistakes. When you take the time to overcome these mistakes, it will make a huge difference in your productivity, and you'll also be happier and experience less stress. It all comes down to stress. If you do not keep your time management skills up to par, it's going to lead to stress, which is our second subject here. And we'll get back into that in just a moment. Hopefully you were able to pick up one or two ideas on how to deal with time management, and hopefully this did some good for you. Thank you.